Hello everyone out there. Now we have to complete a very small part of the chapter Basic Concepts in Geometry. It is called as conditional statements. Okay. Now this chapter, this part of the chapter deals with English language. So you should be little bit okay with English language, not much. Okay. You should be able to frame sentences. So, which type of sentences? Conditional sentences. From the name itself, it is clear. Conditional statement means you are giving some condition. You are telling them that if you have this, then you can do that. Means, if you have your Aadhaar card and your PAN card, then you can fill in this form. Okay? Or if you have the entry pass, then you can participate in this competition. Like that, some conditions to get the things done. Because when you give some condition, it will have some consequence. No? So, the part that comes after if, we call it as antecedent. Listen, and the part that follows then is called as consequent. I repeat, part that comes after if is called as antecedent. A letter comes first, so antecedent. And the part that follows then, part that comes after then is called as consequent. These two things also you have to remember. Now what are these conditional statements? As I told you, we will be giving some condition in the form of if and then. If this, then that, in this form. So as we take examples, you will get a better idea about this conditional statements. So here they are asking us, we'll start with practice at 1.3. Write the following statements in if-then form. Okay, if-then form means it is a conditional statement form. So see the first question. The opposite angles, now it is clear, no? The opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. This is the statement given. This is just a statement. There is no if and then in this statement. We have to write this statement as if and then form. The opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So how will you write this in the form of if then form? First you have to read the statement 2 to 3 times. Read the statement 2 to 3 times in your mind. Understand the meaning of the statement given. Take some time, frame the statement in if and then form in your mind and then cross-check. For example, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Okay. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So how will you write it in condition form, if and then form? So first maybe we go wrong, then we will understand, then we will make it correct in the next take. So let us practice. If opposite angles of a it's not coming properly. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So parallelogram is a quadrilateral, right? Four-sided figure, quadrilateral. So I can write it as if the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a parallelogram. I repeat, listen carefully. If the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a parallelogram. Okay, are you getting an idea? So this statement we have to write it in the form of condition. Condition means it should be in if and then form. Once again I repeat, if the opposite angles of, if I say parallelogram, then what will I write after then? Nothing, no. So I am using this technique. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral. So I will bring that word in between. If the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a parallelogram. Then again cross check the statement. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. It is coming properly. Now you can also write it in other form. In another way you can frame this statement. If quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then the opposite angles are congruent. This way also it is correct. If quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then the opposite angles are congruent. You have to make a note of both these answers. So there are two answers. Any one answer which comes to your mind, It is correct. Both these answers are correct. Both are in if and then form. So they just asked us to write if and then form. Okay. So if opposite angles of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a parallelogram. That was our first if and then form. Then second way, this way is also correct. If quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then the opposite angles are congruent. Both these ways correct. So I want you to make a note of it. Now we move on to the second question. Again we have to write this in if and then form. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Say this statement in your mind 2 to 3 times. Then frame it in the form of if and then form. Diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Rectangle is again a quadrilateral, no? 4-sided figure. So use the same technique. Getting it? How we framed this? If quadrilateral is a rectangle, then the diagonals are congruent. Both are similar, no? If quadrilateral is a rectangle, then the diagonals are congruent. Now coming on to the third question. In an isosceles triangle, the segment joining the vertex and the midpoint of a base is perpendicular to the base. Now here the statement looks lengthy, but this is much simpler than the other two. Okay, than the other two. It is much simpler than the other two. In an isosceles triangle is a triangle where two sides are congruent, no? In an isosceles triangle, the segment joining the vertex and midpoint of base is perpendicular to the base. How will you frame a if and then form here? If triangle is an isosceles triangle, then the segment joining the vertex and the midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. This is also very easy. If triangle is an isosceles triangle, just here you write a then. Then the segment joining the vertex and midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Okay, same. Now let us solve few sums given in problem set of the same format. That is, write the following statement in conditional form. Problem set questions let us discuss, so that our conditional statements is very much clear. Conditional form means if and then form. So we will take one by one. Every rhombus is a square. Now rhombus and square both are quadrilateral. So we have to bring in the word quadrilateral. How will you frame it? If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is a square. If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is a square. Got it? Write the answer in your book. Then second one. Angles in a linear pair are supplementary. Angles in a linear pair are supplementary. Supplementary means 180. Angles in linear pair, when you add it, they make 180 degree. How will you form if and then form? I'll give you some time. Frame it in your mind. If the angles are in a linear pair, then they are supplementary. Okay? If the angles are in a linear pair, then they are supplementary. It was very simple. Now the third question. A triangle is a figure formed by 3 segments. How will you frame a if-then form? A triangle is a figure formed by 3 segments. If a figure is formed by 3 segments, then it is a triangle. Or you can also write it as, if the figure is a triangle, then it is formed by 3 segments. Any one way you wrote, both are correct. Okay? If a figure is formed by 3 segments, then it is a triangle. This way also you can write. Or if the figure is a triangle, then it is formed by 3 segments. Okay, so you just have to write this statement in if and then form. Don't check the validity of that statement. You just write it in if and then form. Next, a number having only two divisors is called a prime number. How will you frame it as if and then form? If a number is having, it's not correct, no? If a number is having only two divisors, then it is called a prime number. Correct? If a number is having only two divisors, then it is called a prime number. Or if a number is a prime number, then it will have only two divisors. You are clear with if and then form. Now we will move on to converse of the following statement. Converse means whatever part came after then will come after if. The part which came after if will come after then. In the beginning I told you the part of the statement that comes after if. Let me take the second one, second statement. So the part which is coming after if is called as antecedent. If a pair of interior angles made by transversal of two lines are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. So this is the statement. So the part, which part is antecedent here? The part which is coming after if. If a pair of interior angles made by a transversal of two lines. Till here we have antecedent. Then the part that comes after then the lines are parallel. This is consequent. What is antecedent? If a pair of interior angles made by transversal of two lines are supplementary, this is antecedent, and the part that follows then is called as consequent. So consequent here is lines are parallel. Now if you interchange this, the thing that comes after then, if you put it after if, it is called as converse. So what is coming after if, that you will put after then. What is coming after then, that you will put first. Okay. So again with examples only you will get it clear. Let me take the first statement. We will write the converse. If the first statement is the alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. The alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. This is the statement given. Now we have to write the converse of this. How will you write the converse of this? Here they have not given in if and then form, no? So we can directly write, if alternate angles made by two lines and the transversal are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Read the statement once again, you will get a clue. The alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. Alternate angles formed by two parallel lines. If you have two parallel lines, the alternate angles, these two are alternate angles, no, which make a Z shape. These two are alternate angles which make a Z shape. So the statement given is the alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. So they are saying that the lines are parallel if alternate angles are congruent. Okay, that is the meaning conveyed. So how will you frame it as, if the alternate angles formed by two lines, you will not say that it is parallel in the beginning. That you will say after then. If, what is the condition? If alternate angles formed by two lines and its transversal are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Understood? So this way you will frame the converse. You will write it in if and then form. Now because here in the first question they did not give it in, because in the first question they did not give it in if and then form. So you will write it as if and then form, and that will be the converse. So here they are saying alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and the transversal are congruent. So this is given part, no? So we framed it as if the alternate angles formed by two lines and their transversal are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Okay, so that first one is done. Now second one. If a pair of interior angles made by a transversal, now this is very simple because it is already given in if and then form. You just have to reverse it. Part coming after then you will write first. If a pair of interior angles made by a transversal of two lines are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. So how will you write it as? If the lines are parallel, then the pair of interior angles made by a transversal of two lines are supplementary. Simple. Okay. Or if you want, you can also write it in a little high standard way as if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then the interior angles formed are also supplementary. Or the simple way. If the lines are parallel, then pair of interior angles made by transversal of two lines are supplementary. I ask you to write it clearly, simple way. What is coming after then? That you put as if. If two lines are parallel, then a pair of interior angles made by transversal of two lines are supplementary. Simple. Now third one. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Now, how will you write it as converse? Here, the diagonals of rectangle are congruent. You frame it as in the form of if and then. If the diagonals, rectangle is a quadrilateral, no? If the diagonals of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a rectangle. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a rectangle. Over? Okay. Now let us again solve the problem set. Write the converse of each of the following statements. See, here all the statements are given in if and then form. So it is very easy. Then part you write first, if part you write later. If the sum of measures of angles in a figure is 180, then the figure is a triangle. So how will you write? What is coming after then? If the figure is a triangle, then the sum of measures of angles is 180. Simple, no? If the figure is a triangle, then the sum of measures of angles is 180. Simple. That is what we are looking for. It's called as converse. Second one. If the sum of measures of two angles is 90 degree, then they are complement to each other. If two angles are complement of each other, then the sum of measures of two angles is 90 degree. Now you are getting it easily, no? Again I repeat, if two angles are complement of each other, then the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degree. Now third one, if the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of two lines are congruent, again I repeat, if the corresponding angles formed by transversal of two lines are congruent, then the two lines are parallel. So now you start with two lines. If two lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles formed by transversal of two lines are congruent. Okay? You have to make a note of it. Now the last one. If the sum of the digits of a number is divisible by 3, sum of the digits, in your 6th standard we have done this divisibility test. If the sum of the digits of a number is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. So how will you frame it as converse? What is coming after then? That you put as first. If the number is divisible by 3, then the sum of the digits of a number is also divisible by 3. Even if you don't put that also, you will get the marks. Once again I repeat, जो part then के बाद आता है, that you will put as after if. Na? That's what I told you. So, Here this part is coming after then. So that we will put after if. If the number is divisible by 3, then the sum of the digits is also divisible by 3. So then the sum of the digits of number is also divisible by 3. Okay, note it down. Now the last, this part of problem set is nothing if you can write if and then form, and if you understood converse. Write the antecedent and the consequent. I told you, no, the part that comes after if is called as antecedent. The part that comes after then is called as consequent. So how will you write this? If all sides of triangle are congruent, then its all angles are congruent. What is antecedent here? The part that is coming after if. All sides of triangle are congruent. This is antecedent. So here, till here you will write. All sides of a triangle are congruent, antecedent. What is consequent? Its all angles are congruent. Its all angles are congruent. Then and if you should not mention. Its all angles are congruent. This is consequent. The second one, the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Now here you have to frame it in your mind, if and then form. You have to frame it in your mind, if and then form. The diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other. If quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then the diagonals bisect each other. Right, Ankit? Then you write the antecedent and consequent. The diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other. No? How will you write it in if and then form? If diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. So what is antecedent? Diagonals. If you have to write that if and then form, then you write antecedent and consequent. Now suppose you are writing the statement as if quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its diagonals bisect each other. So here you will write antecedent as quadrilateral is a parallelogram. What is coming after then? Then its diagonals bisect each other, no? So consequent will be diagonals bisect each other. Okay? So antecedent is quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Consequent is diagonals bisect each other. So this way you will be able to write the converse, if and then form, and antecedent and consequent. Okay, practice these questions only. From these questions only it will be asked in your exam. Okay, so this way we have completed the chapter. You can solve the problem set sums. For practice, you need not write it in your book. Okay, so for practice, you can solve the distance between points and all are asked. So first revise the whole chapter and try to solve problem set. Thank you.